Tonight, the body of a newborn baby is discovered in a bag outside a church in Notting Hill. Police are urgently appealing for its mother to come forward for her own welfare. Also on the programme, the sister of murdered Ben Kinsella tells us knife crime will never stop unless everyone steps up.
There is no one answer, that much I know. It takes a collective community, it takes everybody to come together to do their bit to stop this happening.
So Steve Redgrave dips his oar into the campaign to clean up the River Thames. The demand for our air ambulances goes up, and
love sick, I got that fever. Love stupid, I know it. Love stupid.
What a balancing act. Circus, comedy and cabaret combine in a brand new show. Good evening. An investigation is underway this evening after the body of a newborn baby was found in West London. The discovery was made just a few hours ago outside a church in Notting Hill. Kath Opata is there for us now. And Kath, this is a very distressing, developing story. What can you tell us?
It is, Yasmin, and like you said, it was outside this church, the All Saints Church in Notting Hill, where the body of a baby trying to ascertain some more details about this truly disturbing case. We do know that the police were called around 1:45 earlier today. They arrived shortly after. The London Ambulance Service, was also present at the scene, and they were the ones who declared that the baby had died. Now, as it stands, the police have said that they haven't been able to establish the baby's gender. They haven't been able to establish the baby's age. Neither do they know who the baby's mother is.
And Kath, the police have made a very direct appeal to the baby's mother tonight, haven't they?
They have, yes, and you can see from behind me that there's still quite a strong police presence here. Part of that is to assist with finding the baby's mother. Separate to that, like you said, they've issued an appeal directly to the baby's mother. They said, "You must feel very frightened, but please let us help. We are really worried about you, and it is vitally important you get medical assistance and support. You can walk into any hospital or a police station." Yasmin, this is a developing story. The police are urgently searching for the baby's mother, but they're also asking for anyone with information about this baby or its mother to assist with the investigation. OK, Kath, for now, thank you very much. And we apologise for the break-up in the picture at the beginning of Kath's live there. Now, the sister of Ben Kinsella has told ITV News that knife crime will never stop unless everyone steps up. It's been almost 17 years since the 16-year-old was stabbed to death in Islington. Ever since, his family have endlessly campaigned for change. Today, Brooke Kinsella was honouring Ben's legacy through artwork that he created before he died. She spoke to our senior correspondent, Ronke Phillips.
So if you just place your hand.
A print of Brooke Kinsella's hand on a painting of doves, the symbols used by her brother Ben on his artwork, right up until the project he submitted for his GCSEs just before he was murdered.
Ben did so many wonderful art pieces, but one of the things he did just before we lost him was this bird symbol, and obviously, you know, throughout history the bird has been a symbol of hope and peace.
Ben was stabbed 11 times in 5 seconds as he was out celebrating the end of his exams in Islington. He was the 17th teenager to be murdered in London in 2008. By the end of that year, 29 would be dead. But the record for teenage murders came in 2021, when 30 young people died. The number of deaths continues to fluctuate. In the last full year, 10 teenagers were murdered. But when it comes to something you've personally experienced, one teenage death is still one too many.
Every time I hear that anybody has lost to knife crime, let alone, you know, the younger generation, because as a family we know every stage of what they will be going from. They're not just numbers and statistics to us, they are people, and we know what the ones that are left behind are going through.
Brooke Kinsella was one of the families of knife crime victims who recently met Keir Starmer alongside actor Idris Elba. She spoke about a letter her brother had written before he died to previous Prime Minister Gordon Brown.
And he was 16, and he said how worried he was about our youth of that day.
I think I read about that.
And 16 years after her murder, she believes knife crime will only end if everyone takes responsibility.
There is no one answer, that much I know. It takes a collective community, it takes everybody to come together to do their bit to stop this happening.
As a youngster, Ben had aspirations to be an actor. But by the time of his death at 16, he knew he wanted to be a graphic designer, his style similar to the artist who's featured the teenager's work in his latest exhibition.
My work tells a more slightly darker story, but the great thing about this is, like I said, we can put a positive note on something so negative, and that was Ben's message.
And Ben's message of hope is living on through the Kinsella Trust, which with other charities works to rid our streets of teenage killings. Ronke Phillips, ITV News.
A man's pleaded guilty to stabbing 5 people in a warehouse near Croydon in January. Baba Cisse burst into the distribution centre in Marlow Way, where he used to work, and attacked his former colleagues. 5 men were injured in the incident. A Met police officer has been sacked after grooming an 11-year-old girl. PC Elvis Moreira engaged in inappropriate and sexual communications with the child between 2019 and 2020. There wasn't enough evidence for criminal charges to be brought against him, but he won't be able to work for a police force or fire service ever again. And Joey Barton has been found guilty of assaulting his wife Georgia at their West London home. The former football player and manager attacked Miss Barton in June 2021 after reportedly drinking heavily. Despite calling 999, she withdrew her original allegation, saying her injuries were the result of an accident. Today, a judge said that was wholly unbelievable. Now, after years of delay, the Lower Thames crossing has been given the go-ahead by the government, linking Gravesend in Kent to Tilbury in Essex. It'll become the largest road tunnel in the UK and the first completely new Thames River crossing east of London in 60 years. Our political correspondent Simon Harris has the details.
At the moment, it's only a computer-generated image, but the project to put a new road under the River Thames has already cost £800 million. Today, the Chancellor confirmed the Lower Thames crossing will finally be built with a mixture of taxpayers' cash and private investment.
We will work with the private sector to deliver the infrastructure that our country desperately needs. This includes the Lower Thames crossing.
The decision will at least provide answers to the owners of this riding school at Orsett in Essex, who've been left in limbo for years wondering if the road would be built. It's due to cut through their land. The tenants of this estate know they'll have to move. Their homes were compulsorily purchased by National Highways in anticipation of the project getting the green light. On both sides of the Thames, people are bracing themselves.
The upheaval is going to be horrendous round here. I hope they're not going to use Shorn Village as a cut through.
You can hear how quiet it is round here normally, providing the schools aren't out. It's going to add a lot more noise behind us.
A bit worried about increasing traffic and people and not the services to support that. Obviously pollution is a bit of a worry I've got young children.
The new tunnel is meant to ease pressure on the congested crossings at Dartford.
The trouble is, what it's really doing is only pretending to alleviate that. Because what we're seeing, and this is backed up by the government's own numbers, is even after the completion of the project, we will still be 20,000 vehicles per day over max capacity. We're 50,000 per day over at the moment.
It's going to make a massive difference. Many people in Essex will commute to Kent. Many people in Essex will go shopping at Bluewater, for example, or they'll fly from Gatwick Airport, or they'll travel to Europe through the Channel Tunnel.
At today's prices, the new road will cost £9 billion and could open in 2032. Simon Harris, ITV News.
Now, it's a story we brought you time and time again, the state of the water in the Thames. Now, Olympic rowing legend Sir Steve Redgrave has lent his voice to the cause. Earlier today, he delivered a letter to the Environment Secretary sharing his concerns about how dirty the river is. He says the Thames is becoming so polluted, it might soon be impossible to stage boat races there. Well, I'm very glad to say that Sir Steve has joined me in the studio. Thank you so much for coming in. It's been a busy day, hasn't it?
It's been a very busy day, long day.
Yeah, you must have spent so much time, so much of your life on the River Thames. How does it compare now to when you were on it training in the 70s and the 80s?
It's a lot worse now than it was in the 70s and 80s, and that seems a bit scary in some ways of asking for our water quality to get back to where it was there. Things should be improving, not getting worse. And over the last decade is the water authorities, not just Thames Water, but they are very much the part of the Thames that we're involved in, have been pumping raw sewage in. So even this year so far, the Thames Water have been putting of 785 hours of raw untreated sewage into the River Thames, and that's the same story across the board throughout the country.
You're doing this on a day when thousands of young rowers have been taking part in a massive race on the River Thames, but they've been told to do things like don't ingest any water, cover cuts with plasters and blisters with plasters. I mean, that's a terrible state of affairs.
It's an appalling state of affairs to be in, and actually, because we haven't had quite a lot of rain recently, it's been quite dry for the last three weeks. Yeah. The pollution levels aren't as bad, but that amount of pollution has already been put in to just where they race today. There's been 133 hours of untreated sewage put in just to that one area.
In that bit. I mean, Thames Water will say that, you know, they're delivering a record amount of investments, and that includes £1.8 billion to improve river health in London. But how heartbroken are you to say that, you know, things that you would have done, jumping in that river, you wouldn't necessarily want your grandkids to do now?
No, definitely. My children have grown up, but they've got their own minds. But I wouldn't have liked them to be going into the river of the way the raw sewage is being put in and the way that the rivers are. Thames Water are one of the bigger offenders, but our government give them licence to be able to put raw sewage into the riverways. That's what we've got to stop.
And you've delivered this letter today. What are you asking for, and how hopeful are you that you're going to get it?
Emma Harding has talked a great game today of what they're planning to do, and I'm giving all credit to this government. They do say that they're going to do. They're putting the right words together, but it's about delivery. And Emma herself has been saying that she's going to come up with a plan and a time element that she's going to put onto the water companies to be able to deliver this. But the proof's in the pudding. They've got to be able to deliver it.
OK. It's all about action now, isn't it?
Very much
so. Steve Redgrave, thank you so much for coming.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving me the time.
Still to come, athlete Amber Anning will be here after winning an historic gold at the weekend, and meet the cast of a new show combining the worlds of circus and cabaret. But first, they provide a vital service to the capital's most critically injured patients. And today it was revealed the demand for London's air ambulance is at its highest ever level. The charity says it's now dealing with an average of 6 patients every day, but has to rely on ongoing fundraising to keep it running. Carolyn Sim reports.
It rarely spends long on the helipad. More calls than ever are being made to London's air ambulance. Crews can be in the air within minutes, trained to handle the most urgent incidents where people need critical care. New figures show that last year the charity treated 2,058 patients across London. That's 51 more than the previous year, and an average of 6 patients every day.
About a quarter of our jobs per year are related to knife crime or assault, so stabbings and shootings. 1 in 4 patients we see are stabbing victims.
How distressing is that?
It can be quite distressing, and I think obviously we turn up and do the job and we treat the patient and do what we need to do, but reflecting on it, it is alarming how high those rates are.
One former patient, triathlete Jim Ashworth Beaumont, had been on his bike in Lewisham when he collided with a lorry. His arm went underneath the back wheel and got ripped off. When the air ambulance arrived, paramedics found him trapped with multiple injuries.
Well, they saved my life.
you know, although my rehab's gone on and on for 5 years now, and so many people have done their bit, without London's air ambulance, I wouldn't have got off the road in one piece alive. That's full stop.
2 brand new helicopters joined the fleet last year after £16 million was raised to buy them. They can land almost anywhere in almost any conditions.
The demographics of London are changing. More and more people are coming in and working, living and playing here. The generations are changing, the way people work are changing, the way people socialise are changing, so it's becoming much more of a 24-hour culture. So I think, as has always been the case with London's air ambulance, we just need to adapt to the challenges that are thrown to us.
What these figures reveal is the level of surgical skills the paramedics use on the scene. Open chest surgery is performed once a week in London, and blood transfusions are given every 36 hours.
The charity's working to meet the increasing demand for its care and to save the lives of as many people as possible. Carolyn Sim, ITV News.
So Stephen Fry has been knighted by the King at Windsor Castle. The actor, who was born in Hampstead, was honoured for services to mental health awareness, the environment and charity.
Well, obviously, I hoped I'd mention my contribution to show business. I thought my performance in Spice World, the movie, would have been the thing that really pushed me towards the knighthood, but it turns out not. No, it is a marvellous thing. It's a marvellous thing for the charity Mind itself, and for Fauna and Flora International, and for many other charities that I have the honour to be a patron of or work with.
Also at today's ceremony was fellow Londoner Dina Asher-Smith. The 3-time Olympic medalist and the fastest British woman on record was made an MBE for her services to athletics. And staying with athletics, a little bit of history was made at the weekend. Have a look at this.
Has Holmes gone too hard too soon? Can Amber Anning come off the bend and strike here? It's the American and Amber Anning on the outside. Is the line going to come quick enough? Amber Anning gets the gold!
This is London-born athlete Amber Anning becoming Britain's first winner of the women's 400 metres at a World Indoor Championships. Her victory in China was her first senior individual international medal after picking up a pair of relay bronzes at last summer's Paris Olympics. And I'm absolutely delighted to say, pretty much fresh off the plane from China, she's here. That was close, wasn't it?
Yes, I've watched it so many times. Actually, I still can't believe that I got there, because it was like 1 second later and I don't think I would have had the gold.
No.
So it was like perfectly timed.
And actually, you kind of looked like you weren't sure if you'd won at the time.
I wasn't. I think because of the barging at taking a break in the first 200 and then just kind of waiting patiently to see the results, I wasn't sure. So like I couldn't really like properly celebrate until I actually finally got my medal and was on the podium.
And I mean, it looked like you had to dig pretty deep in there, because perhaps that didn't go quite to plan, the way you had to come around the outside.
Yeah, like I definitely did not visualise the race going that way, and I am very big on visualisation, so I thought I would have a clean take at getting the break, but Alexis was right there and it was a little bit kind of like a fight to get it, so I did stumble, I did lose my momentum a bit, but I think I just had to stay patient, trust my training and kind of wait for the perfect time to hit again. I didn't want to go too early, but I also didn't want to go too late, so there was a lot of thinking going involved.
Is it more in the head than anything at that point? Is it more mental than physical?
100%, because I feel like physically I'm already there, like I'm strong enough, I've got the speed, but it's like when something doesn't go your way, you have to adjust and put yourself back in the race. And for me, like the best thing for me not to do was panic, but just kind of stay focused, stay controlled, and just trust that I will make the right move at the end.
And now you have this absolutely stunning medal hanging around your neck. That's gorgeous, isn't it?
It is honestly beautiful, and I even engraved our name on it as well with the event. So yeah, we got it back really quickly. The ceremony was like 20 minutes after I finished the race, so it was pretty fast. But this medal is like so much to me. It's more for my team. Like this is an individual medal, but so many people were involved in getting it. So
do you know what? 2 weeks ago, you didn't have a great time. You were disqualified, weren't you, from the European Indoor Championships, just because you kind of came out of your lane a bit. So does this make this even sweeter?
Yes, most definitely. I think this meant so much to me, and yeah, it was a disappointment at Europeans, but I knew I had another opportunity and a job to deliver at Worlds, and I was just grateful that I could go out there and finish strong and bring something back to show the family.
Absolutely. And what a year you've had, because this is your first full season as a professional. You've already got those bronzes from Paris, and you came really close to the individual, didn't you? I mean, you were like tiny amounts away from the podium, and this is not even your favourite event.
No, yeah, that was a historic final. Like to be amongst history was just amazing. amazing. And I think outside of the medals, the times that were after could have won a lot of championships in the past year. So it was just, you know, the competition has upped for the 400, but it's amazing. Like, I've got my goals set for this year and I'm really excited to compete again and be at my first year being professional.
What's next?
Rest.
Yes. Are you allowed?
Yes, I'm taking off this week. Hopefully, we'll see what coach says. But my eyes are just set on Tokyo, which is the World Outdoor Champs in September. So I'm looking forward again to hopefully pushing that British record and getting another opportunity to get on the podium.
Amazing. Well, listen, have a lovely rest. You've more than earned it. And many congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, stick with us for some more inspiring women. Here's the day's sport.
Zero Accounting Software sponsors ITV Regional Sports Report.
To women's football, and Serena Wiegmann has picked her latest England squad ahead of next month's match against Belgium, and almost half of them are London players. They include Chelsea defenders Millie Bright and Lucy Bronze, and Arsenal forwards Beth Mead and Chloe Kelly. Kelly's currently on loan to the Gunners and is back on the pitch after limited game time at Manchester City.
That's important because then you get in a rhythm. What we want, of course, that she shows her qualities and that she's at her best, because that will help the team. And then first you need the minutes, and what you can tell that she's enjoying it now.
Sally's here with the weather and a very crucial reminder for this weekend.
Yes, not that I'm good at sport. Oh my goodness, how many amazing sporting women are there? Where are our jeans? Hey,
no, they got them all.
So unfair. But yes, I'm here to remind you that on Sunday it's Mother's Day. Mother's Day, don't forget that. But also that the clocks are going forward. Yes. What kind of a gift is that?
I know, rubbish, losing an hour.
And anyone with tiny children, I really feel for them because it's just a bit of a nightmare. But yeah, the clock's going forward. We are getting some quite nice weather this week. Friday's the dodgy one, but we do need some rain. We have had 11% of the average month's rainfall that we would normally have this month. So yeah, we need a bit of the old wet stuff, but dry stuff coming up. Let's take a little look. Here we go.
ITV London weekday weather is sponsored by Octopus, the renewable energy company.
Hello again, a very good evening to you. Well, a pretty ghostly scene this morning. Look at that, very foggy outside. We'll have some more tomorrow. Beautiful little chiff-chaff though. Love that word, chiff-chaff. Having a fab day, still there. And then tomorrow and Thursday, we've got some decent sunny spells for you, feeling quite nice and warm, above average. Friday, it goes a bit downhill. The temperatures come down and we'll have some rain around, but it is needed. And into the weekend, at the moment, it's looking a bit more settled now. So we'll take that. Right, let's take a little look at the rest of the story for tonight and into tomorrow morning. So you can see maybe still a bit of drizzle, but mostly dry. That cloud trying to clear away. But by the end of the night and tomorrow morning, we're getting some mist and fog forming, and some of it could be a bit dense, particularly maybe parts of Essex and Hertfordshire. So watch out for visibility tomorrow morning. Temperatures aren't coming down as cold, though. We're into those mid to high single figures. So tomorrow morning, not quite as chilly, but yes, it will be a bit misty, murky and foggy. Once all that is cleared out of the way, we've got quite a nice one for you. Fair bit of clouds still here and there, but in between some decent sunny spells, and those temperatures climbing up to 16, 17 degrees, so feeling nice in that sunshine. And we've got light winds as well tomorrow. Just coming up the Thames estuary, there'll be a little bit more of a breeze. If you're heading out tomorrow night for your Wednesday midweek shenanigans, you can see it's looking pretty clear and dry. And it stays like that as we go into Thursday. There'll be some cloud, some sunny spells. Wednesday, this rain heads off, Friday rather, that rain moves in, most likely in the daytime. Still a bit uncertain. We're keeping an eye on it. And for the weekend, not bad, but the temperatures will come down from Friday. Take care. Cheerio.
Octopus Energy sponsors ITV London weekday weather.
And finally, it's been described as entertainment like no other. Sabrage is a brand new production that's just opened in King's Cross with aerial performers, comedy and cabaret, and performed by an international cast. It is far from your average musical. Helen Keenan has had a sneak peek behind the scenes.
balancing both cabaret and circus. It's an act you've probably never seen in London before.
You're looking very glamorous.
Yes.
But this is the reality, right?
This really is. I'm constantly icing my feet. Yep, as you saw, my act is pretty physically demanding. But I love it. This is the glamour of show business.
How hard is that?
It's pretty hard. Yeah, I do think every time I'm like, specifically the table, which you just saw, is pretty physically exerting. I actually ended up moving to China, and yeah, that's where I trained my specialty of Chinese traditional foot juggling.
It's called sabrage, the ceremonial opening of champagne with a sabre.
So this isn't audience participation, but they do get really involved, don't they?
Yeah. We say that the show happens in, above and around the audience, and so it really is a different experience than sitting in rows watching a piece of theatre, you know. It's really happening all around you.
London could be considered a lucky city for Scott. Some of his last shows in the city led to him working with Madonna on her world tour.
What was that like, getting that call? Was that a bit surreal?
It was a bit weird. I thought it was a joke at the start, and then they were like, "Oh, yeah, she's really a fan of your work," and you know, it's cool because she's been to see, you know, four of my shows.
How do you reckon she'd get on here then?
Well, I think she might pop in. Who knows?
There'd certainly be a range for Madonna to get involved in, from comedy to acrobatics. Those in the show are from all over the world, but they tell us performing in London is a privilege.
I came to London for like single nights of performance, to be here for a longer time and really experience the whole vibe of the city is very special for us.
Yeah, it's one of the entertainment capitals of the world, and so it's so exciting, and it feels very I feel honored to be here.
Yeah.
In King's Cross until July, a show that celebrates the spectacular. Helen Keenan, ITV News.
Wow, that is it from us. The evening news is next with Lucrezia. But for now, from all of us, do enjoy your evening. Bye-bye.